Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk about your living space. When you come home, you walk through the door, you should have this feeling of just happiness. Like, yeah, it's good to be home. If you're not, something's wrong there. And you might want to consider an interior designer. We're going to look at different rooms along the way here and what can be done, what is really trending right now. And her company is an award-winning home staging and design company that does everything from homes for sale, people just looking to improve the look of their home, Airbnb. I never even thought of that. And the name of the company is The Luxury Look. Kristine, now I had a block on your name and I was going to ask, Vowles?
Vowles, just like
Am I right?
AEIU.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm good, actually. I am going into the Christmas thing where everyone's going to be at my house on Christmas Eve on both sides of the family. But I feel pretty calm about it. So I'm feeling really good about that.
Hmm.
By Saturday, I'll have every single thing done. Home's ready, presents packed and wrapped, everything's already shipped out. So I did that this year so that I could actually enjoy having everybody here versus, stressed and then drop after they all leave. So I'm trying a different concept this year.
Love it. Love it. I wonder about this. You being somebody in the design area, do you consider what people are going to think when they come over? You know, how things look, how even just right down to, because I got to believe you're kind of particular and detail oriented, right down to the table setting, that kind
Hmm.
of thing. Is that on your radar?
Well, I have always done the holidays to the max with the dishes and the special napkins and the goldware and all that. So the kids actually love that. They know that when they're coming over here for Christmas, that's what they're going to get. Normal day living, that's not how we live. Um, and yes, so when strangers come to my house, I feel like I'm being judged. But the crazy thing is I find that people don't want to invite me over because they're afraid I'm going to judge them. And so
Uh,
it's really, and I've had a lot of people say that, and I said, if I'm not hired and I'm walking in, I can turn it off just like that. I don't go in to judge other people, but I feel that people do look at me. My home, I would love to update it. I, it's great condition, but I don't have time. So
mhm.
it's like, my
Oh,
house.
oh, believe me, I totally get what you're talking about. It's like I have a marketing company and I haven't, and I'm good with my current website, but it's aging out a little bit. And I'm working on maybe updating it, but I work on everybody else's. The same thing with social media. I'm doing everybody else. So I totally get what you're talking about. It's like, yeah, I have a friend who's a carpenter and you go to his house, crown molding is just hanging off the wall. Because he's so busy working on everybody else's, you kind of put you aside. But Christine, I never thought of that people might think when you go to their home that you might be judging what they have there.
I don't like that because it's not who I am. I mean, I personally wouldn't do that anyway, but and I hate it when I'm at a dinner table and they're like, so while you're here, can we go into this room? And I get that all the time. And my whole team does. They call me and they go, well, I spent
Uh,
Christmas Eve helping them with their house. And I'm
yep.
like, okay, that's normal for us.
It's almost as if you were a doctor and somebody says, "Oh yeah, Christine, while you're here, can you take a look at my throat because it's a little scratchy and maybe you can write me a Z-Pack." That. Yeah, I totally get it. Wow.
Fun. It's fun. I'm glad that people feel they can ask. And I don't
Well,
mind being honestly.
well, they respect you.
Mhm.
Other one be asking. At the same time. Let's go to a room. Let's pick a room. How about the bedroom? And when you design a bedroom, some of the elements, I know that some designers have a process, things that you would suggest that should be done.
Well, let's start with the master bedroom because when I do go onto clients' homes, I tend to learn that that's the most neglected room because nobody's going to see it but them. So it's not a priority to them. But when I sit down and I interview the clients, I want to discuss how they want to use the space. Each person that's going to be in the room. So, I mean, if it's a husband or wife or a partner, whatever it is, just to know how they would love to, in a perfect world, utilize the space, because in most cases, we're not actually doing that. And then what I want to do is I want to analyze the space and see if what they're looking to do is achievable in its current condition. If not, then we need to figure out what needs to come out. So I always decide what needs to come out before I bring anything in.
Hmm.
Then what I've noticed over the years is that people tend to turn their master bedroom into an office as well. It's like you know, one of the partners will be in the corner and that'll be the little workspace. It's also sometimes where the laundry gets piled up. Um, they have a TV, but they never watch it. They want to sit in the bedroom and read, but there's no really good lighting for that. It's everybody wants to have that model home bedroom when you walk in and you see it, and it's just like, oh, it's beautiful, settee or bench at the end of your bed. It's just like, oh, I just love to sit there. But in actuality, I mean, reality, we're not actually living like that. So I with very little, the rooms aren't big enough typically to where you have to spend a ton of money to get the look and feel that you want.
Hmm.
So it's an easy room to start with instead of doing a living room or dining room, and just, get a comfortable mattress, and then let's pick your colors. When we figure out the colors and we figure out the textures and what you want, whether you want to have carpeting on your feet when you get out of bed, or if you want a clean floor, if you have animals, are the animals sleeping in the bedroom with you, or do they have a special space for that?
Hmm.
There's just so many different things that we need to take into consideration. I saw a bed the other day. It was online, so I don't know if it's actual real or AI bed, where underneath the bed itself, they had all these cutouts, and it was where their pets slept. They had beds in these little cutouts, so it was little square cutouts. So you have your bed in the platform, and the bed's a little higher, and below it, where you would have storage or mattress, put your mattress higher, they have all these little cutouts, and with a little light and a little bed, and all these animals were, sleeping in there. And I thought, well, now that's awesome. Um,
Wow. I love that idea. My only challenge is my animals sleep on my bed. They're
mostly.
yeah, yeah. And one of them is like just my one cat. Like he won't leave me alone. And it's wonderful. He's so mushy and lovey. Can't sleep. I can't even let him in. Yeah, he stays outside the bedroom. But what a great idea that is. Wow. How about lighting? This was my aha recently. I like my bedroom. I really do. Um, more than any room in my place. And it's only in the last, say, 2 months that I kind of fell in love with it. I don't know what it was. I started spending more time relaxing, watching TV there as opposed to in the living room, and just said, wow, this feels comfortable. Um, I have hi-hats. And it never dawned on me, and I'm embarrassed to say this, to get a table lamp. What a difference in the vibe and the feel. It's like I feel like we've abandoned the table lamp because everybody wanted hi-hats. Hi-hats, a great light, everything. No. It's such a warm, comforting feeling to have just regular table lamps, right?
Yeah, I know. So I started a new routine this year where I really would like to end my day with some sort of educational book, something for my business or me personally.
Sure.
And so I thought, well, I'm going to do that in the master bedroom and, start unwinding for the night and getting work out of my head. And I'm like, I don't have lamps in my bedroom. It's like I have the overhead lights and they're plenty bright, but I'm like, you have to get up, put everything away and shut your lights off. So I thought, man, I need to have lamps next to my bed. So the table lamp, nightstand lamps. And then also I think I'd like to get a reading lamp over the headboard, so that I just had that at a hotel I stayed at. It had two different switches on the side with this lamp. and you can move the lamp or this little light around for your reading. And I'm like, man alive, I could just shut that off and go right to sleep and I don't have to get up. And I'm like, it was so much more enjoyable having the light just on the book.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I need both. I need table lamps and I need reading lamp. And that, I don't know why I didn't think I needed it. I typically don't read in my bedroom. Um, so I'm like, okay, that's a new thing for the new year. I'm getting lamps for my bedroom and I'm gonna get a light over my headboard for reading to where I can just turn it off
Yeah.
and I don't have to get out of bed to do it.
I'm so lazy that I remembered because I'm in between spaces. I sold a house and I'm looking for another one, but not the best time in this area. And I had modules turn lights on sitting in the garage in a bin. I'm like, hmm. So my table lamp that I described, I don't want to reach over and shut it off because I'm laying in bed. I just take my phone and just press a button and it shuts it off. But I can also turn it on right now, no matter where I am.
Right.
So it's there greeting me. I can set a timer. Um, just little dumb things like that. Just make things, just different,
Yes.
right?
So in the living room, we can just say, Alexa, turn off the lamps, and it
Right.
turns everything off in those rooms. And I'm like, why don't I have that in my bedroom? I'm like, I
Right.
only have that in the living room. I'm like, okay, because if you're in the living room, you have to turn it off regardless. And I'm like, so I should have, really put that in the bedroom where you don't. You can crawl into bed and then tell it to turn off the lights. So just those little simple things that actually make life a little bit more pleasant that we don't think about. And then to always keep your room clean. And what I mean is free from clutter. It's
Mm.
so much better to wake up in the morning and when you sit up and you don't see piles everywhere, or you don't see a desk where you're like, oh God, I got to go sit there today and work. If we can make the bedroom really just a sanctuary, it's a place where we just go there to relax and unwind and sleep, versus it's where you fold your laundry and it's where you do your work. I think that separating that, sometimes we don't have the space in the house to do that, but I think it's better to try and move those activities outside of the bedroom and just have the bedroom solely for sleeping and relaxation, or even curling up in a blanket and watching a movie, but something that is just all about relaxation.
What about the psychology of this? Now, I think that you said when you start, you remove things and then put them back,
Mhm.
as opposed to the other way around.
Yes.
Did I hear that right?
I do.
Hmm.
What we tend to do is we put too much into every room. We're trying to get that perfect look. So what we do is we keep buying, be like, oh, that chair will be perfect. But when you bring the chair in, it throws everything else out and everything else out of balance. It's in the room. So what I like to do is I pick. So when you stand in the space, I want people to look at what's on each side of the room. And then you need to turn your body and look on each side of the room. So in a bedroom, you're going to have windows. So does the bed fit between the windows, or does the windows over the bed? Will you have lamps in front of the window, or will your headboard be in front of the window? So we want to free up those spaces. We really don't want to block the windows if at all possible. Sometimes it's not possible. Um, and then figure out at that point, once we have the bed exactly where we want it, when you first walk into a bedroom, you don't want to walk in and into the bed. So it's nice to have the bed on the opposite wall of the door, if at all possible. I'm not talking about feng shui or anything. It's just physically, we react differently when we do that. So if we can have the bed opposite of the door, or you're not just walking into the door and your door hits the nightstand and you have to crawl over the bed to get to another part of the room. I have seen that. They try to put too much into the room that it now makes the room not so functional. So if you think you need a chair, and you tend to just throw a whole bunch of stuff on the chair, but you're not actually using the chair for anything, take the chair out and put a bench at the end of the bed. Because
You,
then you will sit on that bench.
it's so accurate about the clutter. And I
Mhm.
don't believe that we realize what's going on when we allow the clutter to manifest. it's
Right.
it just becomes a part of our life. Yeah, there, that's where I put the dirty clothes right over there. They're piled over there. That's
Right.
my gym clothes. I'm going to wear them tomorrow. I'm just going to put them on the counter.
Mhm.
But what happens is, and if you talk to psychologists or people that harness energy, realize energy healers, we're all energy. You're blocking the flow of energy with that stuff. And
Sure.
I don't, I have a house cleaner that comes once every, maybe every 8 weeks, maybe. And just, I like the fresh feeling. Doesn't cost a lot. And then you realize that what it can be like when there's no clutter. Because she takes it, she puts things away, but she also sometimes moves things. And I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know the way that looks like that there. Huh, I didn't even think of that.
Mhm.
It's like a
Yeah.
different perspective. But I walked into my bedroom the other day after she left, and I'm like, it was like the sun came out. I was like, oh my gosh, wow, look at how I feel like I'm in a hotel. It's a different feeling when you declutter, but you gotta keep doing it. You can't just, go back to putting stuff on the counter and
Right.
the tabletops and all of that. Um, what's your rule for cleaning out closets? Now, some say if you haven't worn it in a year, it goes. Do you have a rule of thumb on that?
So this year I redid my closet, and I did it completely different than I've ever done it before. And I've really enjoyed how it, it's come out. It's not a huge space. I would love to have had a much larger closet, but at the end of the day, it's not really necessary. I don't really need it. Um, so what I do is I do things by color. And I also organize by type. So my closet is organized by white shirts, black shirts. The pants are all organized. I did that so that it's easier for me to pull something out of my closet to put together.
Hmm.
And what I did is I found these really awesome containers, and on the upper shelves in my closet, I put all my winter stuff.
Okay.
And so, because we're also doing a bunch of projects, in the Caribbean, I've now been having to buy clothing that helps you breathe and not sweat and die in the Caribbean. So the clothes that I would wear here in Arizona is not conducive for wearing in a tropical environment. So I've had to buy the cotton stuff, and I've also purchase clothing, more information you needed that, I can be in the water and out of the water, and it's like clothing, so it dries fast. So I have a whole area just for that now, where
Hmm.
those clothes go in. Easy access. So anything that's so seasonal, I have a little closet in one of my guest bedrooms where I took the corner of it. If it's winter, it goes in that area. When fall comes, we change out the clothes. I take all of those, put them in the spot, and then I take out the summer stuff and I put it in there. And I just leave that one spot. So literally it takes me less than 30 minutes to change out from one season to the other. And then when
Wow.
it's the winter stuff, I have that all up top, and then I bring it down and I put it underneath the clothes on the floor so I can pull out the drawer and just pull the sweaters out. So I have
Mhm.
been doing that. And on my shelves where I used to just store just catch-all stuff, I made one shelf where it was all my perfumes, stuff that kind of like my evening routine and things like that, room sprays, lotions, and then I have all my purses, and then I have these little cool containers that I um, labeled for anything that's like a special event that will be pulled out. So it's not taking up space. How the real One of the things I like to say is if it takes up too much real estate and you're not using it on a regular basis, like having a guest bedroom for the possibility that your children might come once a year, that's too much real estate that you're giving to that possibility. So if you've got too much real estate being taken up in your closet for something that you're going to wear maybe once or twice a year, that needs to not be in your closet. You need to find another home for that and bring it back in, or just use it when you need it, but not have it in your closet. So I really
Wow.
analyze, what do I use on a regular basis? What do I utilize for work, play, weekends? That's in my closet at all times. Every single thing else goes into another closet.
Um, did you say you group them together by color?
I do. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that you know,
It's so, I feel I mean, I'm calm when I walk into my closet now. And everything that comes out of my closet, no matter what it is, whether it's a pair of shoes or whatever, it always goes back to the same spot.
I do the same exact thing, and that's key. It's so funny because I went to a thrift store recently. Big one opened up in our area. Everybody raves about them. Fantastic, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. All the clothes are grouped into the same color. So
Mhm.
here's a
Yeah.
rack with all the reds. Here's all the blue. Here's all the yellow. But the challenge is they're all different sizes. So you have to go through to find your size. Like it doesn't make sense. I'm not getting it. I
No,
don't know why.
that doesn't work. Yeah. It's supposed to
No,
be separated by size too, but
right. But in your
for
closet,
retail,
it's
it
it's
is for
um
you.
yeah, it's it's your size and it's in
Mhm.
the but it's interesting. I group my jeans together that way. So I might have dark denim and they're together. I might have the medium denim, then I have the lighter denim, and I put them all, they have their own place. Um, but the organization, I think, is better psychologically for all of us. Same thing about the
It's,
clutter.
yeah, it takes the stress out of getting ready. And it's also makes it easier for me. I can just go pull out what I know I'm going to wear the next day. I mean, in one day, I could change my clothes 3 times, which sounds crazy, but I could have a client appointment and then we might go tear down a staging and then take that to the warehouse. Well, I don't want to wear, a silk shirt to go do that.
Totally get it.
And then the evening, I might go to the gym. So, or go out to, dinner or something, so I just throw a pair of jeans on. So I can sometimes change my clothes multiple times a day. And so what I do is I just go in the night before, I pull everything out, I have it hanging there, and I just walk in. I already know what I want, but it only takes me not even 5 minutes to pull everything because I have my jewelry all in baggies. I've taken all my jewelry, put it in these little tiny little bags, and they're in a drawer now by color and type. So literally, I just walk in, I grab my jewelry, I grab my shoes. It's just, I love it. It's
Mm.
Before it was just like, oh God, I have to go dig through the closet to find something. And then I would always wear the simplest, easiest thing to get to because it was the thing that wasn't tucked away. Now I'm wearing, since I've done that, I'm just like, man, have you been shopping? It's like, no, I can actually get to it now. It's like, I've had this in my closet forever and I just never wore it because I couldn't get to it. So now everything is just accessible and I don't have a large closet. So for you to be able to have that much organization in a smaller space, it really takes the stress out of life.
You are more than just a interior designer. It's almost like you're an organizational professional or a coach or something. And I mentioned before staging Airbnbs. I never thought of that. If you have an Airbnb and you want to get the results, get people to continually book it instead of just I had an old couch, so I threw it in the spare house we had and we Airbnb. No, do it right.
No, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And there's a new product that's coming out. It's not, I wouldn't say it's new, but the use is new. Where, many of us women like to, or men too, like to have decorative pillows in the master. But when you go to bed, it's like, God, do I really want to make my bed the next morning because I have to put all the pillows out? And then you have to take them off when you go to bed.
Yes.
Your room to feel good when you walk in. So
Yes.
the benches that they're making now are now where you open them up. So here's your bed, and then your bench is like right here. It opens this way, and you put all the pillows, you just throw the pillows in it and close it down, and you can use it, to sit on. But now all your decorative pillows are out of the way. They're not on the floor, they're not in the corner, they're all on this bench. But the lid doesn't open this way like a normal bench. It opens that way to where when you're standing here on the bed, you're just picking them up and tossing them and
I
just
need
throwing them
I need
in.
that. I and
I
where
need
do
that. My pillows are too big.
Oh my gosh. And I just leave them on the bed. So like as I'm sleeping, I'm bumping into them and it's just like, I'm not going to throw them on the floor because I don't want to get dust and stuff on them. Wow.
Right.
We're out of time. I want to tell everybody the website is theluxurylook.com. I'm sure you're available if somebody anywhere wants a consult about maybe interior design. And certainly Scottsdale, Arizona is where you're located for staging. Wonderful talking with you, Kristine. Love all the insight. And happy holidays to you and your family, too.
Thank you. You too.
That's like the first time I've said that so far this season.
Oh, cool.
It's
The
like,
first one.
yeah, it's like, yes, it's days away. We'll talk soon. Thank you so much.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.